that was the Sugar Creek Academy. That building was built in 1837. The academy was established many years before that, but it was taught in the sanctuary until it got to be large enough that they felt they needed their own building, and they built the academy. Almost all the Presbyterian churches had schools for younger children, which they called common schools, which they taught boys and girls reading, writing, basically arithmetic, which we now call primary education. And for older girls, there were quite a number of boarding schools available in Charlotte and otherwise for families who could afford them. But the churches ran academies for boys. The primary reason for running academies was to give boys enough education so they could go to college and go to seminary and become ministers. This area was highly Presbyterian, and they got tired of sending to Princeton and other places always for their ministers. They wanted a homegrown ministers to preach to people here. So that was the reason for the academy for boys only. If you lived close to the academy, that was wonderful. If you lived some distance away, you had to find a place to live. It was close by, because you couldn't ride a horse half a day, go to school, ride a horse a half a day. It just wasn't possible. So a lot of boys boarded in this house that were members of other families while they went to the academies there. We know there were boys here in 1837. There were probably boys here before that and after that for some time period. We know of two tutors who taught at that academy who boarded here. And one was a gentleman called Mr. Peacock. I think Mr. Peacock, that this was his room here, because there was a reference somewhere that Dr. Caldwell referred to a little bird living over his head. Well, his office is right down there. And whether or not this was Mr. Peacock's study or his bedroom, we don't know. There's no fireplace in there, but he could have carried a pan of coals to put it to warm his bed from another fireplace. The office building where you got your tickets is brand new, and so there's some room up here which we will find a use for, but we haven't really yet. That front room that I said could have been used for different things, that used to be, until fairly recently, where people would get their tickets for tours. This room was our storage room. It was packed to the gills full of all kinds of stuff, and now we have places to put it where it can be fairly well organized and boxes labeled, and you can find them instead of crawling through stuff. So this room doesn't have another good use yet. In those two rooms over here is where our staff offices were, and this one is coming along. The other one will eventually come along to making them like museum rooms where we show some artifacts that were related to the family. And then this room here we've interpreted just as another boy's bedroom. And in this room over here, there is some graffiti on the wall that some of the young gentlemen who boarded here, they like to write their names on the wall. And I was just so pleasantly surprised when they cleaned our wallpaper, and I thought, oh no, we're going to lose all that beautiful graffiti, because some of these boys, we know who they were, and we can document where they were when they were students at the academy down there. And I thought it was very kind of them. We don't want our children to write on the walls, but it was very kind of those children to do so. It stayed there even after the so just ask questions and walk around for a couple minutes and